Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Social. How's everybody feeling today? Yes. All right, before we even get started, I got to shout out. There are 13 ladies from the Toronto Newcomers Club. Where you at, ladies? Thank you so much for being here. You guys look awesome. And of course, my TV husband is back, comedian Arthur Simeon. Yeah. Let's dive into the show. Vogue has revealed the theme for next year's Met Gala. Superfine tailoring Black style, honoring the legacy of Black dandyism and styling of Black men. Actor Coleman Domingo, Formula One driver Lewis Hamilton, rapper A$AP Rocky, and artist Pharrell Williams are co-chairing the event. They'll work with Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour and honorary co-chair, get this, for the first time he's gonna be there, LeBron James. Cannot wait to see what he's gonna do. So, Arthur, I'm gonna start with you. What do you think about this?
First of all, I'm glad you came to the most fashionable Black man in Toronto for this one.
Of course, who else?
I feel like your laughter is a little hurtful. Personally, I'm excited about this. I want to see, but I'm also I'm excited for the wrong reasons because I'm trying to see who's gonna mess this up. We're gonna talk about for weeks after this, but also. All of these men who you've mentioned are people who get dressed, like they have people who dress them. Yeah. And for me, I'm like, I want someone who's dressed by their mom, their spouse, I was dressed by 3 older sisters my whole life. I want that to be represented at the Met Gala. I want the hand-me-down crowd to be represented at this. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm excited. It feels like, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time the co-chairs have all been men.
Yeah.
Well, Black men. This is kind of historic in terms of the Met Gala. I'm super excited. But like you, I would be very anxious for all of the people who look like me.
I love how you're slowing down and saying every word very clearly.
It feels like there's so much room for white guests to step in it.
Yeah.
You know, like I could see them truly like, hey, my man, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Just evolving into that kind of stuff.
And it will be intentional for some people because controversy sells more than the quality.
Yeah.
Right.
So for people know that the red carpet is a moment where everyone's gonna take photos of you. And some people are dressed well, but they're not interesting or they're not, being talked about. And there's gonna be someone who's gonna be like, no, I wanna make sure everyone is talking about me tomorrow,
and so you think
regardless of the post.
Well, I mean, I feel like that would have dire consequences.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, I think it's gonna come down to the stylist. It also can be, I think many people could choose, just go with a Black designer, right? Like just, in order to be safe. But what I'm looking forward to is this concept. I think a lot of people don't know the term dandyism. Maybe.
We think we know what it is.
Maybe, right? Do you want a little,
give us
some things. Okay, so a dandy actually refers to a man devoted to style and neatness. And there has been a little bit of a subtle association sometimes with a sexuality or a little bit of a more feminine aspect to that.
Right.
It gets confused with metrosexuality, different.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's historically been associated with people like European people like Lord Byron and Oscar Wilde. I don't know why I'm pointing at you because you're the historian.
It's accurate.
But why this is interesting is because Black American men in particular are, I think, connected to this in a way because freed slaves would particularly dress in their finest to exercise a privilege to those who were not. It was very intentional dressing to mark a certain shift and not, that was differentiated between those who were still enslaved. So I think that there's an interesting historical component.
Yes.
I think this is a rich history to explore. Yeah. You are worried.
Well, here's the deal. I want to start with the positive because this is, finally this group is getting their flowers. Because Black people, Black culture has really, shaped everything that we do, the music we listen to, how we dress for many decades without really getting the credit that they are due. So this is wonderful, but like everybody else, I know we're in a really weird time right now, and I know it has a lot to do with the election that's happening in the United States, and there's a lot of division, and so I think that's why we're all, instead of just celebrating, going, this is gonna be great, we can think about like Little Richard and Prince and Chuck Berry, all of these men who we know very well, who exuded that dandyism, but we're all still kind of going, well, who's gonna get it wrong? How many apology on your Instagram are we gonna see the day after? Which is I hate that we're thinking that way. I wish we could just celebrate it. But historically, whatever the theme is, people always seem to get it wrong. But this one has a lot more.
It has more writing on it.
This one has a lot more writing on it. So I hope people really do the research and go through the history and find out before they get dressed and put on that outfit. And please stay away from the bronzer. You know, the dark bronzer we're talking about. Just don't do any of that stuff.
Goodness.
And like, right, we're just hoping that everybody really does the research and gets it right.
Yeah.
Point taken. Sticking with fashion, a woman wrote to the New York Times fashion critic saying, I see big bags everywhere, but I never actually see a powerful woman carrying one. So is it smarter to go smaller? What do you think?
I mean, the reason why powerful women, you don't see them with big bags is because they have people carrying their bags. Let's just point that out.
I love that I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
The poor person is behind them.
There are two assistants with two bags over their shoulders and a knapsack sweating.
But doesn't it make you doesn't it make you love the queen a little bit like more? Because she carried that bag until the last day. You know what I mean?
I love a big bag. I can veer very easily into Ali Sheedy territory. Remember that from the Breakfast Club where she just had her whole life? I often, if you checked in my bag right now, guaranteed there's gonna be some support undergarments, several lipsticks, probably a piece of Lego and some rocks. Any moms there? Like, that's what you end up with. Okay. That's what you end up with.
And I'm in the opposite. I'm entering my small bag, no bag phase of life. Anybody in that phase where I barely want to take anything? Like I've got my key down to one key and a fob because I don't want to carry anything. And I'm going to blame all of the boyfriends that I've had. Yes, I'm not going to name you, but I'm going to blame all of them because I used to carry that big bag and inevitably they turn to me and be like, can you hold my keys? Can you hold my wallet? Can you hold my this? And I'm like, why am I being saddled with all your junk? And it's like, they're like, well, look at the size of your bag. And I'm like, you're right. So if I have no bag, you got to carry your own stuff. So I'm like much lighter, but I will say this much. If I'm going on a trip and I'm going on a plane, because you know they're charging us for everything, I'm going to pack. I have a bag that I could fit 3 children and 2 dogs in because I refuse to pay and I refuse to check a bag. So that's the only time you'll catch me with a big bag. But I'm downsizing as I get older. What about you? What's your bag situation?
My bag situation, first of all, I want to see a bag that's big enough to carry snacks. That's the big thing. Because every time I see a lady carrying a bag, I'm like, I wonder what snacks are in there. And is she willing to share it? Because the thing for me, every time I see a bag, I'm like, how prepared is this person for the day? Because if you ever go through any lady's bag, there's always things in there where I was like, I don't even know you. How did you plan for this? Because it starts with the makeup and the money and maybe some keys. And then all of a sudden, it's like handcuffs. I'm like, I don't know what is happening, you know? It's like a hammer, a wrench. Like, what is happening in there? Where were you going?
I wish I had a jar of honey. And she's
exactly.
like,
right There's some hot sauce in there. There's some condiments. It's like.
Anything
and I love that.
I feel like you're speaking to our audience. I feel like there's a lot of heads going, yes, I do have a hammer in here. And
exactly.
some honey in here, honey.
I guarantee there's some hot sauce and handcuffs in this room right now. What you're using them for, I don't know, but
we're looking. We're testing. They're clapping.
I had a wake-up call one time, though, of like when I'd reached peak overfilling of my bag. I was walking across the street, and I was like at a stoplight, and there were cars, of course, here, and one of them beeped at me, and I was like, I thought I got mad. I was like, what are you doing right there? And the guy was just like pointing downwards, and it turns out a bra had fallen. I was just sitting there. There's nothing sadder than a bra,
especially a dingy one.
Dingy bra just sitting on the stage. So I'd like to say I've fixed my ways, but I have not.
No.
I love that you're carrying extra bras. We need to discuss
you never know what's going to happen. You never know what you're going to be wearing at a given point in time.
I'd rather let them loose. I'm not carrying an extra bra.
This conversation has changed significantly.
Okay, Jennifer Lopez is opening up about her 4th failed marriage, but who's counting? Who's counting?
We are.
In a conversation published in Interview magazine, J.Lo said her divorce from Ben Affleck was, quote, exactly what she needed, and that she's, quote, excited to be single and isn't looking for anybody. Is anyone buying this?
Who's buying this? Anybody? Listen, J.Lo. And it's fun, the president of her fan club's not here, so we can really go in on her today. You know, I love J.Lo for a lot of reasons. I love how she started. I love her work ethic. I love the things that she's done. If she's not on a red carpet, it's not the same. But I'd have to say, this is the one area where she's getting an F from me because this feels so inauthentic. Because this feels like, you know, back in the day when, you know, celebrities didn't share anything about themselves. So if there was a scandal, there'd be some really nice curated article in a magazine and be like, everything's fine.
Right.
It reeks of that. The problem is we're in a day and age where celebrities are sharing everything from their infertility, abortions, who they're voting for, every single aspect of their life. So there's an expectation for full transparency. And then the second problem is, I always say, once you let people into your personal life, you can't tell them, no, you can't get this part.
Yeah.
And when you do a documentary called The Greatest Love Story Never Told, you let us all in.
Yeah.
So now, we have friends, Jennifer, who've gone through divorce, and no one just, goes to Italy and stays on a yacht and takes glossy pictures and goes, oh my God, I needed that. Wow. It's heartbreaking. It's really hard. And we know how much you really wanted it because you put it in a documentary and then you put it on a streaming service. So I really, really wish that she'd been a little bit more transparent and honest about how hard this is and how much she really wanted it to work this time.
Well, she did say it almost broke her and she was like her house being set on fire and how do you go back from that? So I guess on one hand we're saying we want her, she opened up the door to being personal, but she shouldn't have done that. And then on the other hand, we're saying be quiet. Do you know what I mean?
I'm saying if you're gonna do that, you have to give us the good and the bad.
Right.
You can't just give us the good of oh my God, we're so in love.
But
Here are the box of
how much bad do we want? Give me a scale of how much bad.
I mean, I think you...
10, all of it, all the bad.
I think you need the movie follow-up, the one that tells you I think that's what people are expecting. And I've tried to find empathy and sympathy, as you know, for everyone. But it's hard when everyone in the world seemed to be seeing this coming except for her.
Yeah.
Right.
Where were her friends? Where was her therapist?
Right.
To kind of be maybe you don't jump in with all 10 feet. This is number...
Again.
Yeah. I think that's the disrespectful part for me is don't talk to us like we don't know. You can't say this is exactly what I needed on your 4th divorce. You can't... It feels disrespectful to the rest of us.
Yeah.
We're watching this happen. We know what's going on. You're not a new entity in the field of marriage or celebrity or any of this. Like you said, you saw this coming to an end before it even started.
That's right. That's right.
So that's the thing you should admit. Talking about being honest. Just be listen. You guys saw it. I refuse to see it. My bad.
Yeah,
it's better than being this is what I needed.
I have a bad picker. I grew up with this saying, hearing from women in my family saying, any idiot can get married, stay married. And I think also the biggest issue was she was gloating about a relationship that was only 2 seconds long.
Yeah.
If she put that documentary out 20 years into a marriage with Ben,
then you have
it would have been
something to talk
different.
about.
But it's you did it right off the bat. You were trying to convince us.
Yeah.
You're trying so hard to convince us that it was gonna work this time, and then it blew up in your face, and now you're like, oh no, it's fine, I needed this. And it's
Don't you?
No,
There's
you
part of
didn't.
me that really wants her to just shut down, turn off Instagram, don't post about how you've healed from a divorce in over the summer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And post these glossy photos of yourself.
Yeah.
She always looks perfect. There's part of me, I don't want to see the mess. I don't want to hear how hard it was or how much she was over it. I want her to just shut down. It's almost does she needs something from her audience as well.
Right.
Yeah.
It's this symbiotic relationship. She can't because she needs to have that attention, I think, from social media.
Is there a chance also that she's really close to her divorce lawyer and just wants to keep them working?
I like this.
Yeah.
Maybe she's getting a cut.
Yeah, getting a cut.
Maybe she's getting a cut.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
She always carries a very large bag, but she does. From lots of relationship experience to very little. A writer for Cosmo is debating whether she should date a man who'd never had a girlfriend before. So is that a red flag if you start dating with someone who's never had? I think we should start with Arthur.
Listen,
have you had a girlfriend before?
I have had a girlfriend before. Yeah, I've had a girlfriend before. And here's the thing, I don't think the little or no relationship experience is a red flag in itself. I feel it would be a red flag if the other person wants it in a person. I feel like the person who wrote this article is more of a red flag than the actual person who doesn't have a relationship. Because in that article, they say, I wanted, I've molded this person into being my partner, not just being a general partner. And I'm like, that's terrifying, because I don't know what that means.
Mold. It's the word mold.
The only time I would say it's a red flag is if you have a series of dead exes, and then who have only died under suspicious circumstances, then maybe we can have a conversation. Like, why are none of your exes alive? And how come all of their deaths were in the news? You know, like why?
That took a turn. I did not see you going that.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, I'll say this much. There's too much judgment in dating. There's way too much judgment about like what you've done, what you haven't done, how many partners you've had. That being said, I'm being judgmental. I think it depends on a lot of things. How old is this person? Is this a guy who's 24? Because a 24-year-old guy who's never had a girlfriend, not a red flag to me. 54-year-old man who's never had a girlfriend, a little bit of a red flag to me.
Yeah.
A person, and I don't know the reason why you didn't have a girlfriend. Were you in prison for a very long time, so you didn't have a girlfriend? Or were you a Catholic priest and you've just left the priesthood, and that's why you didn't have a girlfriend?
That's interesting.
I need to have more information, and also I need to know, how many sexual partners have you had? Have you had a lot of sexual partners and no solid relationships?
Oh, okay.
Because it all
Details.
changes. I think you need to ask more questions. It's not just a general, like, you haven't had a girlfriend? Weird. It's like, you know, people have different life experiences, but I need to know all that information.
But
along
what's
with
more
the
of a
dead
red flag?
Yeah.
4 divorces or no experiences?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like,
you know what?
I would say 4 divorces.
Would you rather date the woman who's had no boyfriends and 4, or the one that's had 4 divorces?
I would date the one with no relationship
Really?
first.
I think so too.
Because-
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm the only one. I'll take the divorce person. I'll take the divorce because I want to thank every last one of his ex-wives for all the hard work she put into making him the man that I need today.
Yeah, but you're just signing up to be the 5th divorce.
I'm okay with that. I know what I'm getting into. I'm going to send each one of them a muffin basket and say thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, yeah. What are you going to say?
Oh, I'm just glad you said that. It's okay if no one has, if they're younger.
We shouldn't criticize a person for having a life and having experiences. Maybe this person is a hopeful romantic, and maybe the first 2 marriages you got it wrong because you were a little bit young and you didn't learn your mistake, and then the other one you don't know. I always feel like we need to give people a little bit more room for growth and for making mistakes. We're all very human.
Agree.
So that's why I love your
nuances.
with being
I'm
the 5th
Simon's
wife.
first girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right? He was 21. And I honestly don't think it's a red flag, because I truly think if you're just a reasonable human being and you had a reasonable upbringing, you don't need that. You're bringing that to a relationship.
Right.
You don't need to be taught how to be a reasonable person.
Also that you're more for me, Jason didn't have a ton of girlfriends either. And for me, it was like, oh, he's very discerning. He knows himself really well. And he was waiting to see the right person. So I felt quite honored.
See? Do you see how we turn it around? And I have no problem being Simon's second girlfriend. I have zero problem with that. A new TikTok trend has people revealing their most embarrassing celebrity crushes with HearMeOut cakes. For instance, a troll doll, Ernie and Bert, and actor Gary Oldman. That's hilarious. All right, so Kwame, a cake, please.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we doing this?
Yeah, we are doing this.
Oh, no.
We're doing it.
Oh, no.
All right, so Kwame's
Holy
got the cake on the
smokes.
table. All right, so Jess, you're up first. So who is your embarrassing
No one's recording
celebrity?
this, right?
Oh
No
my
one-
God, it's just us. It's
Yeah,
just
okay.
us. My
All right.
controversial crush is an alien teenager boy from the 1980s show Alien Nation. Now hear me out.
Whoa.
What? His name was Buck. His name was Buck, and he was angsty, probably because he was an alien having a difficult time adjusting to life on Earth with humans. And I saw him for who he was, which was a handsome, bad boy alien in a leather jacket.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Yeah.
You sold it though.
Yeah.
You sold it though.
Did I sell
Yeah.
it? I
Yeah.
look cute.
That's very disturbing.
I mean, he's
have
doing
questions.
a smoldering
Yeah.
eye oopsies look
Yeah.
like this. And what's with his head? What's going on with his head?
Cynthia, he's an alien.
He's an alien.
I mean, I can't really judge right now.
I can.
You can
That is
judge?
We're
disturbing.
judging?
Yeah.
Wait, don't judge yet, because Cynthia hasn't gone.
Yeah, because my
So-
controversial crush is in the same landscape as yours. My controversial crush is Worf from Star Trek. Now hear me out.
Oh.
Hear me out.
Cynthia.
It may have been his
Yeah.
deep voice or
Yeah.
his smoldering look or the fact that he was also very kind. But what I really think it was is it has a lot to do with this thing on his head.
The Mars
The
bar
Mars,
type.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something that just makes you want to reach out and touch
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And I feel like it might be his androgynous zone. I don't know.
I
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I get it.
Thank you.
I get it. Maybe
I had no idea.
anything.
I had no idea Cynthia was into the chocolate. This is news.
All right. News to you and her husband.
Yeah.
Who's not chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay. So my answer, I really failed this assignment. All of my crushes were just like regular people, not like aliens or guys with chocolate bar
No, this is
foreheads.
very disturbing. Like, I agree with you.
This is, I don't know,
Yeah.
like, we need to talk to police about this.
Yeah.
My choice was actually author Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh my gosh!
Right? I'm gonna put him right here in
Yeah.
front of you, your weirdo choices.
Yeah.
And I find as I'm getting older, my choice in men, like when I was younger, it's all about 6'4", abs and pecs and, like some kind of athlete. And as I get older, I'm like, I want you as brainy and nerdy. He looks like he's maybe 140 pounds. He doesn't comb his hair. His teeth are all over the place, but he's a great author and I love his books and I love listening to him just talk. He's such a smart guy. But he's if you saw my ex and you saw him, you'd be like, who are these? These are not the same people.
Yeah.
So it's not
good.
embarrassing. If you watch it, don't be embarrassed, Malcolm.
No,
But call me. Call me. I like him.
I guess mine is the only right decision.
Okay.
These are all wrong. Mine is very self-explanatory. I don't even need. It's Elena
Who's
Kane
that?
from Archer. If you ever watched the animated show, if you haven't, just go watch it.
Okay.
Listen.
I thought you were worried about the women with the weapons in their purses. She's
You know
got
what?
some weapons in
You
her
know
purse.
what? It should be a good reason to die. Do you understand? Like, if that's how my life ends, I'm not mad at it.
I
If
feel like I know this woman. Wait,
Yeah.
where's the camera? Wait,
There we go, there we go.
Wait,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is it
There we go.
Is this not?
It looks a
I
little.
feel like you're
Yeah.
telling me
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm not telling you something. Yeah.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.